Well, cars are lining up for kilometres outside food banks across the US were a common sight in the early days of the pandemic. More than a year later, even as the economy recovers and businesses begin rehiring, the need for emergency food assistance remains high. Kyoko Gasha visits a food pantry and mobile market in New York City.
Apples, bok choy, and canned goods. These are some of the free items that City Harvest is handing out to those in need from its mobile market in Brooklyn. In addition to distributing food directly to residents, the not-for-profit services almost 400 food pantries, soup kitchens, and community food organizations across New York City. Visits to its network increased by 46% between March 2020 and January 2021, compared to the same period the previous year.
The demand for our food and emergency food across the network is still significant, and we know that the need is particularly high in certain communities. Unfortunately, the same communities that were hit the hardest by the pandemic are the same communities that have high demand for emergency food right now.
Food insecurity is a persistent problem in the city and has been exacerbated by the pandemic. In 2019, 1.2 million residents had limited access to affordable, nutritious food. That number has surged to more than 2 million, according to Hunter College's NYC Food Policy Center.
These numbers, they're not acceptable numbers. We think, again, it should be zero. And that's what we should be looking for municipalities to take responsibility to get to zero food insecurity. There's no reason for it.
Holy Apostles Soup Kitchen in Manhattan provides around 500 families with groceries each week. Pantry guests can take home 3 bags of food, 1 of dry goods, 1 of fresh produce, and 1 of protein and dairy. That's up from 80 families pre-COVID-19. Since March last year, Holy Apostles has seen a 500% increase in demand across all food programs it runs. While it's leveled off a little since the height of the pandemic, it's shown no signs of abating.
The population has changed. Before, we were only dealing with families that were living in shelters, and now we're seeing families from across all social spectrums coming here and trying to make ends meet. And as you saw, the line gets longer and longer, and the people are being very anxious about if there's going to be enough food. We've never run out of food, and we're seeing, great need, and we're giving great food here.
A year and a half into the pandemic, New York City's unemployment rate remains high at more than 10%. And as residents struggle to pay for meals, housing, childcare, and transport, long lines outside food banks are likely to persist. Kyoko Gasha, TRT World, New York.